And what you need to do is you just need to cut all that stuff away. So it's just like, it's just like when your parents are, making steak and they got to cut away all the fat.
No, not the same.
Okay? It is exactly the same, except this has no bugs in the steak that you ate for dinner. It's got bugs.
What is so big?
It's appetizer.
Oh my god.
Pig. Quiet.
It's just the eyeball.
Wait, is that edible? Do people eat cow eyes?
To be quiet.
Expensive.
So what you're going to find is that some of the stuff is light, and then some of the stuff is darker. What do you think the light stuff is? Do you think that's muscle? It's fat. Okay? So there's tons of fat muscle. You have to have fat muscle. The fat protects your eye, cushions it, and the muscle allows you to move around. Okay, so your eye can see in all sorts of different directions. So you can sit there and what you'll be doing is you'll be cutting it off, and really you just need to make sure you're not cutting your fingers. Okay? But then what will happen as you're cutting and everything?
The sound.
The sound?
There's no sound.
Like what me hold like doing this against the
No, like the.
I
I don't know why I can hear stuff like
The
that.
moist.
I
Saw
think
in your eyes.
you are imagining things. At least these ones don't have eyelashes. Some of them have eyelashes.
Wait, are we using the ones with the eyelashes?
When I was pregnant with my first child, I had to do this. I took the eye out, it had eyelashes. I put it back in the bucket and I said, we're not doing a dissection this year. It really grossed me out.
Just cut the eyelashes off.
I know, yeah, no. It was a little too eye-like for me. All right,
People eat
so
that?
what you guys are going to do, as I'm saying, is you're going to be cutting all this off, okay? So when I get around, you're going to have cut some of this off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come by with my super sharp scalpel, and I'm just going to cut a bit more off. So I have to do this standing up because I want to make sure I don't actually cut the eye part. So I just kind of cut a lot of that fat. This is just like, the steak knife that you have.
What's like butter?
It's not really like a snake.
No, it's not really like a steak.
I'm never going
What's
vegan.
blue like butter?
Yeah.
I'm never
Because
going
it's
vegan.
beef.
Oh, yeah.
It really is like the steak. It is the same muscle, except it happens to be in
Do
the head.
people eat that? Like the cow eyes?
I had a fish's eye before. It's like this big. Yeah, cause like I accidentally swallowed it.
Really dry.
Is that old eye?
What?
Is the eye old?
No.
It's like dry.
No. I don't know. Got last year.
It's not dry, then okay.
All right.
Do I have some problems?
So-
I'm kind of hungry.
So what I've done is I've cut a lot of the excess stuff off, which means that now you can just kind of do your fine tuning. So again, there's still quite a bit of fat on there. And what's the function of the sclera again? To protect. So do you think I'm going to be able to actually cut through the sclera with my scissors?
No.
So you don't really have to worry, and you'll notice that a lot of that just kind of pulls away from the sclera, so you actually know where to cut. What we do have here that you can't quite see yet, so I'm just going to kind of find it, is a very kind of thick cord, which is right actually in there. I'll try to get rid of that other stuff so you can see it better. And that cord that you're going to find, you can actually cut it, just to let you know. But you don't want to cut it. So it's the optic nerve. And the optic nerve is not one nerve, it's a bunch of nerves. Okay, because if you only had one nerve that went from your eye to your brain, and that one nerve, like one road, got damaged, then you wouldn't be able to see anything. But if you have lots of nerves and one gets damaged, then it's easy for you to actually kind of continue to see. Maybe not as well, okay, but you can still see. So I'm just kind of cutting that off. And when I'm doing this, I'm just pulling stuff away. Okay, so I'm pulling it away so it becomes easier to cut.
Kind of reminds you of slime.
Yeah, but not really.
Please don't. Show me your.
Just send me
Butter
a
slime.
pic of this.
Make it like dark and toasted.
It is definitely not marshmallow like.
Please don't. Don't talk about marshmallows.
It's like the
Marshmallows. What is it?
it's like a
Looks
such a
like a
protection thing.
Tennis ball.
Oh, my fingers.
Yeah, probably.
Now, when you guys are doing this dissection, are you listening?
Yes.
Ooh, that's not very nice. Oh, the fact that there's blood in there.
It's okay, I'm kidding. You can do this.
This is actually why I don't cut meat.
Oh,
Okay, when you guys are doing your dissection, you're actually going to be working in groups of 3, okay? And I'm going to be putting you into
Can I color?
Are you listening? Shh. I am going to be putting you into your groups of 3. And it's so that you can take turns cutting if you want to cut, but also because just because they're small scissors, they actually do kind of start to hurt your fingers a bit. So sometimes it's nice to be able to take a break. It also allows people who definitely do not want to dissect. They're like, I can stand there and look at this, but I don't want to actually do anything. It gives them the chance to be in a group where they don't feel like they have to cut. Okay, so I'm going to be putting people into their groups of 3. So I'm still kind of working on this. You can see that again, like it's all just fat, right? It's fat and muscle, just like your hamburger and all that.
Like me, I'm just fat.
It looks like it's cooked.
That's not cooked.
Kind of.
Oh, you will
So
know.
appetizing.
Just keep going.
Now,
Next time
But I'm not gonna touch with like my hand.
quiet down.
I can.
Remember
I think
that
I will.
this started off huge. And then I'm cutting it down, and it's actually not that big. And then someone just said, how do you know when to stop cutting? And I said, you'll know. Because right now, all of this stuff you can easily pull away, right? So we can easily pull it away from the sclera. And the sclera is for protection, so it's going to be really hard for me to pull the sclera away from the eye. And it's going to be really hard for me to even cut through the sclera unless I'm not paying attention and I puncture it with the actual tip of my scissors. So this bit right there, that's all just muscle. So I can totally just cut that away.
Yeah, that looks like.
Okay. So lots of muscle, because we want lots of muscle, right? And then this, got some fat on there. Here's some more muscle. Let's get rid of that.
Yummy.
Yummy.
I think I'm with the
No.
Because it's not like the eyeball that scares me. I don't like this slippery feeling.
Oh, it's actually not that slippery.
It is?
Good grip.
Okay.
Sorry.
Like I've got to, yeah. Like,
You cooked that?
what, the beef?
want to do that?
You could definitely do it, but it's been sitting in chemicals, so I wouldn't.
Oh, yummy.
Okay? Yes. And that's the smell that you smell is the smell of the chemicals. It's not the smell of the eye. Okay. So if you take a look right in here, you'll see that it's kind of grayish.
Yeah.
And if you touch it, which you're doing dissection, it's a good idea to touch, which is why I'm saying don't use gloves. You can use gloves, but I wouldn't recommend you use gloves. It's actually, do you guys know what a squash ball is?
No.
Okay? Or a racquetball ball. They're basically like rubber balls in a sense. And they're filled with air. Okay? So that's exactly what this is like. Okay? It just feels like the
8
outside of a
minutes.
squash ball.
Is the green part the cornea?
Nope.
No, it's the.
Oh my god.
You guys are filming like the boring part.
Oh, okay. Let me just delete all of this.
Documentary of dissecting an eye.
Delete it.
The whole entire part.
All right.
wanna
So
record
just
this,
getting
Alice.
rid of, again, that fat and that muscle.
It looks squishy.
Close your mouth, boys.
And then we're almost right there.
What is that yellow?
And so you can tell, that's fat.
Okay.
So again, you can tell when you're done. And what you don't want to do is stop before you actually are done. Because I had a group yesterday do that, and they had a really hard time because they actually did cut off enough of the fat and muscle. And you'll notice that I'm not going straight across here and just cutting across there, because this here is actually my optic nerve. Okay.
Is it hard to cut?
It's not, actually, it's not too hard to cut. And see, like I just cut that. So that's the optic nerve right there. So cutting that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely got a different texture than the other stuff. Yeah. Okay. So if we take a look at our eye now, the eye itself looks kind of grayish. Okay. So if we take a look here, that gray bit there, tough. Okay. Trying to poke it with my scissors, nothing's really going on there. That's your sclera. Okay. That's the protective part. If I turn it this way, what's this part right here?
Jelly.
No, it's not the jelly. That's the cornea. So it should be transparent, but it's not because it's been sitting in preservatives. If you leave stuff in preservatives, it'll often change the color of it. So basically, that transparent cornea, okay, is no longer transparent because of the preservatives. So we need to get on the inside, because right now we can see the optic nerve, we can see the cornea, okay, and we can see the sclera. And I already cut off all the muscle and that, but we want to see what's actually going on the inside of there.
Oh, yummy.
So in order to do that, I need to get in.
I think it's like blue.
And I can't really get in very easily. Like I can try cut it with my scissors, but it's going to be hard to do because the sclera is for protection. If I could cut it with scissors, then it would be very good, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke a hole, and then I'm going to get my scissors in there. So for those of you who have pierced ears, you kind of know that when you get your ears pierced, you have to keep your earrings in, because if you don't keep your earrings in at first, what happens? It closes up. So that's exactly what's going to happen here. If I poke a hole here and then take it out and then try to get my scissors in, by the time I actually pick up my scissors, the hole's going to close up. So that's why you have partners. Okay? Not only do you share the cutting, you can also share how the process is going to work. So I'm just going to cut that out of there, and now I'm going to get my probe. So this is a probe. These are, telling you right now, very, very dirty. Okay? So I do not want to see anyone going, oh, poke, 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 poke to their friends. Or like, let's have a little, like, a little sword fight. These are not toys. Okay? And if you get punctured by one of these, so if it actually breaks your skin, you will have to go to the hospital to get a tetanus shot. And the tetanus needle, I believe, is way bigger than that one. Oh. So you do not want to go get a tetanus shot. And you can't kind of go, well, I think I had tetanus shot. It's not a I think. We have to know that you've had it. Okay? And time is of the essence. So if you get poked by one of these, it's a bigger shot. So you don't want to do that. If I take my probe and I do this, it's really hard to actually poke a hole. Okay? And I don't want to do what Sora just did, holding my eye and jabbing it, right?
Jab her hand.
She said to put it on the wax thing.
Exactly, okay? Because if you're holding in your hand and it goes through, but it exactly goes all the way through, you can poke yourself too. So I never want to see anyone using the probe. Using the probe and the eye in the air. So we always
Looks
put
like
the
an onion.
eye down the bottom on our pan.
Looks like an onion.
So we put the eye on the pan, and then we're going to poke our hole there, okay? And it's obviously going to take a bit of effort because, again, the sclera is for protection, so it's quite tough. So when you're using the probe, if you kind of twist it back and forth, sometimes it's easier to get it in there. And you need to use...
Oh, there's liquid.
Juices, excuse me.
Juices are coming out of it.
Jesus?
Do you favor?
Okay, so it's really...
Right in.
It's really... No, it's not even in yet.
Oh, you what?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Sorry.
So again, that sclera is so tough that I had to stand up to get that pressure on there.
No,
Okay.
she.
Oh, no.
Oh, what?
And now my
dirty. Wash your
probe.
Smells?
No, it just comes off. Okay.
Smells delicious.
So I need to then get it a little bit out. Oh. Maybe it's in there
30
too much now.
minutes.
Oh, stuck.
How deep is that?
Oh, deep enough. Okay.
Oh, I smell it.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Sean as my partner. I think this might, I'm going to get you to try pull it from here, but this might actually come off, and don't pull it until I tell you to, okay? So you're just going to pull it straight out. You might have to twist it a bit. Nope, is it not, is this coming up? Okay, you're going to have to pull from there then. Ready? Twist, twist, twist. Okay, so, did I lose it? No, I think got it. So as soon as that comes out, you got to start snipping because you're trying to get that opening in there. So I've got that there, so it's good. Okay, so you need to get the pointed part of your scissor into that hole right away and then just start snipping. Once you've actually got it in there, it should cut pretty easily. Except right now it's not, so I'm probably on something. I'm going to go in the other direction.
It sounds dry.
Ooh. That's not snipping very well. Let me grab the other scissors.
It's like it sounds dry as often.
Like a doctor
Uh-oh, I just lost my hole.
operation.
Oh, there we go. What is the juice? It's the preservatives. So the preservatives are all on the inside of that eye, because the eye just basically soaks everything in it, right? So what we're doing is we're just snipping around the optic nerve. You want to make about I would say a quarter size circle, okay? Because you need to be able to see on the inside. And if you make your circle super small, then it's really hard to actually see what's going on, okay? So we actually kind of put them there, okay? So let's think about what's going to happen when I open this up.
It's like opening a coconut.
Liquid.
It's like opening a
juicy.
coconut.
What's the innermost layer called? The retina. So when I pull this off, we should be able to see the retina. But right next to the retina is that jelly-like substance called the vitreous humor. So when I pull that off, you're going to see the retina is not that shiny bit. The retina is this film right here.
Looks like a
So
dumpling.
that, whoopsie, I forgot I don't have the thing there. Please.
Dumpling.
Okay. So this bit right here, that super, super thin
Oh my god.
layer right there, that is the retina. Now, obviously, it's also a bit discolored because it's been sitting in preservatives, but you can see where it's actually attached. Like if I actually kind of move it around, it's attached at one point, which if I flip over is where my optic nerve is. So that one little point there where my retina is attached to the optic nerve is my blind spot. So that's my retina. This layer here, we're going to call it the choroid coat, even though it's not the choroid coat because cows don't have choroid coats from what I understand. And then we can see that we've got the sclera. So we've got our 3 layers there, okay? The jelly-like stuff, if I do this, you can see, if I do that, okay, nothing's coming out. So for those of you who thought it was like really, really like, you know, juicy and stuff like that, nothing's coming out. Shh. This jelly-like stuff, that's our vitreous humor, okay? And I need to get that out of there. So this is also where, this is actually where you might want to wear gloves only because it'll kind of get into your fingernails, okay? But I'm just going to
Scrape
scrape that out.
No.
It's like a contact. Ew, it's weird.
Oh.
It looks
Good.
Oh my god, it's weird.
It's transparent.
Oh yeah, it looks like those hand
Well,
sanitizers.
it's not.
It's just
Jen.
It has to be transparent because the light needs to go through it. Okay?
So that's what your
So
eye.
this stuff here, that jelly-like stuff, you can see that's like, it's actually kind of hard, right?
It's
So
like
jelly.
raindrop cake.
So that is,
Raindrop cake.
quiet. That's our vitreous humor, and I still have some retina attached to it. Because remember, that's what happens. It's a vitreous humor, and then the retina's right next to it. When you get older sometimes, your vitreous humor starts to pull the retina away from where it's supposed to be. Okay, and then that kind of distorts the retina. If I hold my eye up like that, okay, can you see a hole?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine if my cornea was clear. You would then see that hole that's through there. Oh, I got some, that's not aqueous humor in there, though, that's just actually preservatives. So you should be able to see a hole. We're going to see that hole a lot clearer in a second because if I actually look on this side here, I'm going to pop that out. That's my lens. Oops, pop out. Yeah, that's the lens. Now the lens here, well, yeah, kind of, right?
Oh, it's hard.
Quiet. So the lens itself, again, should be transparent because lenses are transparent. It's definitely curved though, and it's definitely convex. And if you feel it, it's actually not, it's hard, but it's not like glass. And so one of the things that you're gonna do is you're gonna cut it. Now you know that you can't cut glass, okay? But we can definitely cut our lens.
Is it liquid?
No, it's not liquid.
Yummy.
Okay? It's very fibrous. And so the reason that it's very fibrous is because remember it needs to change shape. So all these fibers, okay, they're able to kind of move around and they can make it change shape. So that's your lens. And now when I hold up your eye, I'm going to hold it this way so you guys can see. Do you see a hole?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually a hole. So if I turn it that way, you can see the hole. Does that hole look like a black dot? No. That hole, though, is the pupil.
Okay, why does the pupil always look black when there's little light going in? Why wouldn't it be white?
the back of your eye is dark, even though the light goes in, but it doesn't light up the eye because the light gets absorbed by the retina to change all those like
So the
things.
retina's black.
No, the retina is actually a kind of a reddish, like not a reddish, like a tannish film color.
It looks like a lychee.
Yeah, I can cut the cornea off. What you guys are going to be doing? Oh, you wanted me to poke something right through?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. It's not,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just so you know, this is not what you're doing in your lab. In your lab, you're actually going to cut this so you can see it a little bit better. But just because you guys want to see that poking through with it.
Satisfying.
Okay. So the cornea, remember, is also a protective layer. So it's a little bit harder for me to, I've never done this before. I've never cut it. Okay. And I just want to make sure, well, no, I can cut it. I just don't want to make sure I don't cut my finger. Okay. Oh, it's, whoa, it's way harder than I thought. Yeah.
Use a probe.
Well, no, because my probe's broken. I'll use my scalpel.
Don't hurt your finger.
All right. So, you guys want me to cut that? So if we didn't have, oh, maybe I can't cut it.
Wow.
Easy.
Well, it's very tough. It's a good thing that it's tough. All right, I'm just gonna cut that with the scalpel.
Wow.
Well, that is so tough.
The more you know. The more you know.
Wash your hands afterwards.
Nasty.
All right, so I've cut part of that cornea off, and just like I told you yesterday, you can basically take something and just poke it right through, right? So the pupil is a hole. So the cornea protects everything on the inside, and right inside of the cornea there would be the aqueous humor if there was any, but it's long gone. Okay, so it just goes through the hole there. So that means that black stuff, I'll just cut it this way so you can see. The black stuff that's surrounding the hole is what? The iris, because that's what the iris does. It forms the hole.
So crunchy.
Well, it has to be crunchy because remember it's the sclera, so it's for protection.
Oh.
Okay. So what you've got there, I've got a bit of the choroid, so-called choroid coat. There, I'm just gonna flip this.
It's blue.
Oh, I'll flip it that way, like that way, right there.
It's really pretty.
Looks like rock.
So you'll see right here that
I
there's
wish
kind
my
of,
eyes was the color.
there's kind of ridges there, and again, that's because it is a muscle, right? So we got ridges there, and that just controls the size of the pupil. Okay. So key thing, the iris in the cow's eye is black. This blue layer, remember, is the layer that's between the retina and the retina and the sclera, which we're going to call the choroid coat. Any questions? Okay.
Why is it blue?
Say again.
Why is it blue?
I don't know why it's blue. But ours, this is not like our eye.
Okay,
It's,
yeah.
it's very characteristic of a cow, but not us. And maybe other animals, I don't know.
I thought I was a cow.
Really?
No.
All right. So that's the dissection. So now you kind of know. Like you can look at that and go, yeah, I can do that, or no, I can't do that. But the fact that you all stuck around, okay, means that you could handle it. Okay, so you just need to make sure when you go into your groups that you're in a group where at least one, preferably two people, don't mind using the scissors. And like I said, it's way easier without gloves, but you're able to use gloves. Okay, so there's two size gloves, there's large and there's medium. Sometimes people just want to use one glove, sometimes they want to use two gloves, but if you're using the gloves and you're finding that they're getting in your way, just keep in mind there is nothing in here which is going to, there's nothing biologically in here which is going to, attack you or anything like that. It's not like when you actually touch chicken, it has stuff in it. So if you don't cook chicken well, you can actually get sick. Okay? So with this one here, good luck.
There's no homework, right?
No, just if you want to do the eye questions, you can. Okay? But again, when you do your
24
dissection, you need
minutes.
to wash your hands because you will have chemicals on there. Okay? Any questions? All right. Return to your seats.